If you're a person who has an average man's salary, then you'll often go and think about things that would happen if you were rich, including likely the saying, "Oh, I know what I would do if I had $1 million." In fact, it's fair to say that everyone has their own $1 million dream in one form or another, which is perfectly fine. But have you really gone and broken down what you can get around the world if you had that $1 million? Because you could get more or less than you might expect. Allow us to show you what $1 million buys you around the world. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 6, a life. No, we're not getting philosophical here, and no, we're not saying you can use $1 million to buy a person. That's wrong in all the ways that matter. Rather, we're giving you a very objective sense about what you can do with $1 million should you get it. Because think about it, one of the hardest things about life is that it's expensive. It's incredibly expensive at times, in fact. That's why many of us go and do that "I wish I had $1 million" line so that we could go and dream about what we'd have once we were wealthy. But if you look at it from an overarching standpoint and you think about what you could get for $1 million, you can get enough to satisfy a basic life and not have to worry about things for quite some time. Obviously, we're giving you the money tax-free. For example, with $1 million, you can go and finally upgrade where you live. You won't need a mansion, more than likely, though we will show you how you can get an interesting big house deal for $1 million or so. But you can still get a house that's comfortable for you and your family. It'll be paid in full, so you only have to worry about property taxes and such, which your million could also cover. Adding to your life needs, you can get a brand new car for yourself. Your spouse should have one and your kids should have them, and know that they are brand new and unlikely to break down right away. And if you play your cards right, these purchases won't even take half of your million, and that leaves you plenty of money to go and do other things for your family. You can pay off outstanding bills like car loans, school loans, and so on. You'd be debt-free and have everything you need for the most part to live the next several years of your life happily. You'll still need to keep your job, as the money won't last forever. But if you are smart with your money, you'll be able to make your life much more comfortable for yourself and your family, and have a lot less stress. Isn't that the dream right there? Plus, as we're sure you know, where you live in the world will affect how much your money is truly valued at, and how quickly you spend it. So picking the right place to build up your life is paramount as well. Number 5, real estate. Okay, now let's get to one thing that people very much say they'll go and do when they get and have $1 million. Real estate. Some people will say they'd invest in the real estate market, while others will go and say they want to buy a fancy place to live in. Or they'll go even farther in that dream and say they want to go and buy them a fancy place in a fancy area in the world, which is a fair thing to dream about, until you realize that what you can get for $1 million in terms of real estate very much depends on where you go. For example, $1 million buys you only 17 square meters or 183 square feet in Monaco, the world's most expensive real estate market as measured by average cost per square foot. So you might want to avoid going there with your cash. Hong Kong ranks second with $1 million buying you only 20 square meters or around 215 square feet. In London, you'll get a wee bit more for $1 million or about 21 square meters. After London, New York ranks fourth with $1 million getting you a whopping 34 square meters or 366 square feet, which is of course luxurious compared to the city's new micro apartments. Cape Town, South Africa and Dubai are still the real bargains when it comes to luxury real estate around the world. Your $1 million gets you 204 square meters or 2,196 square feet in Cape Town and 145 square meters or 1,560 square feet in Dubai. So yeah, while $1 million may seem like a lot to spend, you could spend it all really quickly if you try and buy real estate in the wrong place. So remember that before you try to go to Monaco or London with your cash, okay? Number 4, cars. Oh yeah, we are going to yet another impulse purchase when people talk about getting rich. Everyone wants a brand new car, which if you really think about it is a fine thing to think about, mainly because most people can only go and afford used or hand-me-down cars that'll work just long enough for you to save money to get the next vehicle. It's a way of life for some, but if you have $1 million, you can go and get yourself a brand spanking new car without much issue and know it'll be paid off. Though as some of you might have guessed, depending on where you are around the world, you can go and get some very expensive cars for $1 million or an accumulated million. Of course, we speak of luxury cars. Oh yeah, we're talking Rolls-Royce, Mercedes-Benz, Ferrari, Lamborghini, etc. Many of these car brands have vehicles that are valued in the hundreds of thousands, if not close to $1 million per car. So if you wanted to make the most out of your automotive million, then you could very easily go and do enough purchases to have a fleet of cars before your million is spent. You just remember to get insurance on all of them, okay? free education. Now this one may seem like a lame thing to do, but considering the world is now your option, the desire to go and get an education, and one from maybe an exotic locale, might just be what you need to want to learn again. Real talk, school is expensive, especially when it comes to colleges, and oftentimes some of the best schools are overseas, and thus you just have to move there and pay to live there while also paying to have an education. But with this million that you just got, you could almost literally go to any college in the world and pay their tuition, even if it's $100,000 a year. Sure, some colleges have requirements and students have to meet certain standards to get in, but if money is the only obstacle, you're covered. Plus, if you're a parent, you can guarantee that your child goes to whatever college they want without having to take out loans and such. College debt is a crippling part of our world, and having that million to ensure your kids or you don't have the debt is very freeing.
I feel like Harvard is my home.
It just could not feel more natural to call Harvard my home. I just can't help it.
You can act like yourself at Harvard. If you're a prim and proper person, then be that all the time, but if you're not, that's cool too.
Like the minute you realize this is
Number 2, business venture. Here's another thing that many people dream about when it comes to having a lot of money, because many out there very much work 9-to-5 jobs or freelance jobs to try and get the money to come together. However, they would love to go and start their own business. The reason they don't is startup money. But $1 million would help fix that, wouldn't you say? Granted, it won't be an infinite safety net, but it can definitely cover things like startup costs, employee revenue for a certain time, getting a building for your business, and so on. And if you put your business in a certain part of the world, the cost would go down. So in this case, location is absolutely essential. Number 1, worldwide vacation. Let's end this on a fun note, shall we? Because if 2020 has shown us anything, it's that we the people absolutely deserve a vacation that suits us in all the ways that matter. Some of us won't be able to do that because of financial burdens put upon us during the pandemic. However, if you had $1 million, yeah, you could rack up plenty of vacations to do. You could do a cruise ship venture, or you could do something where you fly to all of your dream destinations. You could go and do all of your bucket list items without fear of running out of money, depending on what your list items are, of course. Now, sure, after this, you might not want to take a vacation for a long time, but why not go on an adventure where you can afford it, you know? So what do you think? What do you think of this look and how much $1 million will get you around the world? Were you surprised by some of the items that you could get and how fulfilling some of them might be in a grander scale? Which of these items would you personally seek out if you had $1 million? Or would you just invest most of it and then ensure your life down the road? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.